Welcome back to the channel. We're over at my mom's house, and this was part of the Mother's Day. Every year what we do, my brothers and I and Dawson, we do little projects, and she's got this Sillcock that keeps leaking, dripping, whatever. I don't know what the issue now is because it's not dripping, is it?
Nope.
But she said she wants it replaced, and so this is not the original to the house. I don't know how old it is, but it looks like it's put on. Scrape that some more. Is that a nail?
It's a nail.
He says they're nails put on with. I've never seen one put on with nails before. This is a pressure treated plywood foundation. They're 2x6s, 12 inches on center, and it's an 8-foot basement. And this is one of these 100-year warranty ones. I'm going to replace this. So out here, it don't matter right now, but I'm going to disconnect this. I gave her this thing to, you know, do the hose for the front and the back, so she can do her plants. She's got tomato plants and things. And then I have to get a cat's paw or something, get them nails out. And then we're gonna go down to the basement. I'll show you a couple little problems with a pipe. I'll show you what I want to do. I'm gonna turn this on, make sure it works. Yeah, I'm not sure why she wants it replaced now. Do you know why she said? Seems to be working. So we turn this on, we know it actually works. I don't know why she wants to replace it. I'm just gonna, I want to see if they're actually nails. I don't know, kind of weird looking. Been on there a while, right? I think she's been here since the 80s, so. Looks like a roofing nail, don't it?
Yeah.
Look at that, it is. A roofing nail, it's the first time I've seen that. So I want to get this loose. Not going to pull it out, obviously, because it's hooked up. Can't pull it out. But then, there we go. Check that out. Maybe that's an easier way to put them on, Dawson, your roofing nails. But they don't hold. I'm surprised it held. And then we got paint chips here. So I'll probably grab a utility knife, just cut the paint off. So now we'll go down in the basement. Okay, we're down here in the basement. Let's get an idea what's happening here. We got the 1-inch water line coming in. This we replaced new. I don't know. Should have marked the date on it, right? Why didn't we? Probably 3+ years ago. I rerouted some wires and then I labeled them, brought them in the box. I think they were all loose. It was just worse than it is right now. It wasn't neat. And I labeled it line, load, and went up. Joined into whatever was up under the insulation here. I believe I put this water filter system in, and I had to have it on a board, and I like these because they have a metal bracket, so when you go to loosen your filter, it doesn't twist all the pipe around. And then I put a shutoff valve up here so that we can shut off the house that goes out. And then I put one down here at the tank so that we don't lose all the water. So you shut that off, we can replace the filter. You only lose, you know, a couple cups of water and then whatever's in the filter. So you follow this pipe up and there's a T in it and you see copper. I'm not a fan of it, even though they say it's good stuff, is after a number of years, this is what happens. And you get pinhole leaks, as you found in a recent video we did. You get pinhole leaks in them. This one, that goes over to the water heater, and somewhere it's got to be a T on it. Yep, there's a T on it. So she doesn't have good water pressure. You see why? We got 1 inch coming in. We got a 30-50 switch coming up to a water filter, and then it goes right to 1/2 inch. I did half because that's half. That should have been 3/4 going all the way to the water heater. And she'd have double the water flow. And then we got a single line going over, but if there was a double line or the house went off in that one, then we're not using a T over there, which really slows it down too. And we did a water heater. And that's working good. We don't have any issues with that. But back over here, we're going outside. And I got a light with me. Let me turn this thing on. It's really dark. And where's the switch? Ooh, look at that. So Look what I see. There's a copper pipe with a kink in it. There's another kink in it. There's a ground that's rusty. I should spray them bolts up. And we got a copper water line that goes over to the 200 amp service. Copper wire for ground. But it's only grounding. Let's see if it's grounding properly. Yeah, I guess it does ground. Except that portion right there. So whenever you go to PEX, you lose your ground. So ideally, I guess, I don't know if you should run a jumper wire from that copper up there all the way to anything here or not. But usually you want it continuous throughout the house. But anyway, so I guess what we have to do here is that appears to be a 12-inch because we got a 6-inch wall. I bought an 8-inch, so our fitting's going to be back at the wall farther, which doesn't really matter. We'll never get that fitting apart there anyway. I could just take and, if I can loosen that fitting, I did bring my torch, so I could heat that up if we don't burn some insulation here, and come over. The next connection's way over there. So I guess if I come somewhere where I can reach right here, maybe loosen this clamp up, pull that pipe away, I can cut it and get a fresh piece of pipe right to there. I do want to put another shutoff valve on this with a drain in case that ever froze up. She left the water hose on, something that it's not going to burst and leak in the house, you know. So you always want another shutoff. I'm going to put that in place too. Well, I beat on that for 5 minutes trying to get the roofing nails out. They're in pressure treated, so they're all corroded. I guess I'm not going to mess with it there. So I'll come back over to about here where I can reach it. I just want to get rid of them kinks. I'd be foolish to leave the kinks in the pipe. So I'm going to use this cool little auto cut. And it's a 1/2 inch. And it's got a direction arrow. You want to turn it this direction if you put it on there. So we'll do that, and then it's going to spray water all over me, drip, make a mess, and then we'll pull this pipe out of here. I'm just relieving the pressure on it, and I got to try to get this clamp loose, and we're going to have to put an extension on it, put it on this side. Maybe I can come diagonal across this ceiling. It's unfinished basement, but to hook onto that probably won't pass code, but putting a section in may not pass code. And then I'd like to do a second cut so I can pull this right on through, or I'll just cut right there, just use a Sawzall and cut it off. We're not going to reuse it. Well, I had room enough just to bend this wire up for now, so I think I'll spray them up. They don't do too good once they're all corroded anyway. It really needs a new clamp on it. But I think if we put an extension and run it on this side of the pipe would be best. And it's up there with staples. I don't know. Probably ought to add an extension instead of moving it. And then this fit in this way, so it should fit out that way. And this cutter does a real nice square job. So we're just going to take emery cloth and clean this. While I'm here, I'll just see what we got. Remember, we took them 2 roofing nails out. Oh, they didn't even caulk it. Look at that. So what I'll do, 2 things. I'll pull it back in, and I'll show you what I want to use. So originally I bought an 8-inch because I knew the wall was 6, and I figured, why buy a 12 and spend the extra $10 if you didn't need it. And then I also bought a Shark Bite shutoff valve with a drain on it. And when you install them, and I got a piece of PEX pipe here, is you want to install it. See the direction of the water? So it would mount this way in this case. And the pressure would be on this side. And when you shut it off, the pressure stays on that side and you're able to drain the pipe. The idea with having these frost proofs, ideally, would be to go up on a couple degree angle and allow it to drain. And if you look at this pipe, it's level. So there's nowhere for it to drain anyway. So whatever water is in that pipe from that point out could stay in there. And then if you leave your garden hose on, it's going to expand and break. And it usually breaks right there, just at the wall where the coldest spot is. And then But every fall you should go in, you shut that off, and then you go in and loosen this up, and then just let it fizzle, drain out. And then when you want to turn it back on, come down and turn your ball valve on, tighten this up first. And so what I want to do is shove that out through. I want to put my PEX pipe into here first, and then I can push it through the wall. That way I don't have to worry about a connection up there in that insulation. And then what I like to do is put a bead of caulk and or insulation around the hole and then put it up to it. Make sure it's sealed so no water can get in there and make a rot problem. The studs, as you can see, are pressure treated 2x6s, 12 inches on center. It has a treated sill sitting in gravel that you can't see. I'll show you over here. So over here in the corner, she laid plastic down, but that's gravel under there, and it's like a sump pit, but it's not necessary. This is sitting on crushed stone, and that's the foundation. And they call this a 100-year foundation. They waterproof the outside with a coating up to the ground level, and then they install it, and that's it. And there is a perimeter drain, and she does not get water on the floor here. And she's been in here almost 40 years, and we don't get any issues. And I did a basement walkout in that pressure treated. Your top plate there, 2x6 double, you know, is okay, but treated needs to go down. The plywood's treated. The insulation, I think this was designed to do drywall or something they were going to do, and they never did. And so probably a different product would be good in here that stays up if it's going to be open like that. You want your vapor barrier to the heated side. So I marked 7/8 of an inch. I didn't have my tool. I got a special tool that tells you where it should go. And I put a little marker on it, and it disappeared. So I know I'm in 2 clicks. It goes in like twice. There's a wedge on the end of this that gives you your angle. They want it like angled down slightly. So the wedge goes thicker at the top, and that angles so it drains because the valve is actually back here. This has a vacuum breaker on it. I think they are kind of terrible quality. It's brass inside, but I'm going to go out and mount this thing now. We'll put it through that opening, and I got a little silicone with me. We'll put some caulk in there, slide it in place. I'm not sure I'll put my screws in yet, because what I want to do next is the shut-off valve pretty close to this, because we don't have a lot of room up there. Back outside. It's another scorcher. I'm burning. I've been out here 2 seconds. Pretty hot. This is Amish country up here. We got Amish just hayed this by hand. Let me show you. And they got oats down here. Check that out. I'll zoom in down there. See that? We got, I don't know what you call that. My mom said a name for it, but they stack that up to dry, the oats, and then they go gather it with a little wagon. It's kind of neat. It's on both sides of the road. This one, they did a baler, but they're not allowed to use certain equipment like electricity, not to be tied to the grid. So they used a 8 horsepower gas engine on a more modern baler. And they can pull the baler with a tractor because it runs on gas, and that's what they did. It's the old John Deere. It worked pretty good. A little 2-cylinder, pop, pop. It come out, and you know, it's just got the fitting on the end, and probably the plywood is just swelled a little bit. But we got, I don't see anything wrong with it, but it appears that ding right there is the thickness of the wall. So I would imagine they bent it around. That's what that kink in the pipe was. So whoever put that in did that. And this don't have a vacuum breaker, so this isn't too new, I don't think. But we're going to put the new one in. And what I'm going to do, I'll put this in a little bit first. Make sure she fits without an issue. I might put it all the way in there. And we've got our wedge at the top, which is going to tilt it down a little. And it goes right in. So what I want to do now is I got some, whatever I got open, and this is gutter sealant, clear. So it's good stuff. You put a goober of this around there, make sure we don't get any water in. This is a gable end of the house, so it doesn't, you know, get a lot of water splashing or nothing here anyway. But Let's get some of this goober in there to make a real good mess. And then sticky. It's like through the roof, you know. And we'll push that on in. Probably gotta use gloves in there now, right? Now I'm gonna push it until it stops. What I don't like is it's up so high, you know. I probably would have had it a lot lower than that. It'd be tough to get to that vacuum breaker if you ever got to unscrew it. So I'm gonna go ahead and check it out, see what's going on. Thomas just pulled in there with a wagon, and they're gonna gather this up. I don't really want to snoop on him. They're friendly. His name is Melvin. Kind of interesting. We're getting off track, but it's pretty interesting. He's got the boys with him, and they're gonna lift that up, set them on that wagon. Kind of curious how heavy they are. What do you think, Dawson? It's quite a bit of, I guess that's oats. Looks like straw. And they probably bed the horses with it, you know. I should go over so you can see it better. Oh, they got a farm tractor over here. An old one's got metal wheels on it. Their wagon has metal wheels. So they're just getting ready. Maybe I can show you a little bit when they get going. Nice way to put it up. They had a nail supporting that. So I was hitting that nail. I actually went under, ooh, my light fell. I went underneath it. So not a big deal. Now we're straight with this other pipe. Now I'm going to take some emery cloth and clean up that copper. I'll just put this around and shine her up nice. So I marked at 7/8 of an inch, and the reason is that double click, and I want to put the shutoff valve on, and I got to put it in the correct direction so the drain is on this side. See the arrow? We're going to slide that on there, and it's going to stop. There should be 2 clicks. There's one, and that should just about disappear. There it goes. Hear it? Now, I don't need this piece of paper on here. And then I'll probably put it, see how the handle goes here. Yeah, this is off straight across, so this will be good. Right upside down. And then here's our little fitting. You loosen that up, tilt that little hole downward, and it'll drip out any excess water if you need to. Whatever. But normally, once you shut this valve off and open the one outside, it should drain out automatically. But like I said, open that up, leave it open, and then any expansion, it won't break anything. So now we've got our pipe in there, and it's going to go 7/8 into that fitting. So now I just measure from there, transfer it to this, cut the pipe, mark the pipe, slide it in. See, I can still move it, and then go put 2 screws in outside, and we should be good. So I marked this as 7/8 of an inch after I cut it, and it lines right up flush at the end of here. So it should work fine. So now I can, the reason I left them screws loose is how do I bend this enough to fit it in there, right? Because this is a straight pipe and clamp. So I left the screws loose so I can move this out, slide it up. This has it does not have the insert in it, which I'm surprised, but we're going to slide it in there and she'll lock on. See, my line disappeared. So it went on 2 clicks. This is tight. We'll turn our water off. That way we can test our fittings. And you see how it's wet here. It's good to dry them off first, but we'll know if it leaks right away. And then that's in all the way. So that's what I like about PEX is you'll rarely do you have a leak. Now we're going to go out, line that up level, and put our 2 screws in. Well, they fired up the tractor, and it sounds like a thrasher or something. I don't know what they're doing. I'm not familiar with that type of haying, and you can't see past them. I was hoping to show you something, but they're firing up some equipment, and they're going to go down and start picking it up, I think. Oh, wait a second. What we had to do is the holes are wallowed out because of them roofing nails. So we'd have to use a monster screw, then we'd have to drill that out. But the second thing is this vacuum chamber is going to hit the siding because they put this so high. So I think if it's on an angle, what's the purpose, what's the good of that, Dawson? Do you know? Then your hose isn't kinked either when they're down this low. I don't think they have to be vertical. Put it as straight as you can in there. And we're going to use Dexter. Does it tighten? Yeah. Don't overdo them. And then they're 1 5/8, so it should work great. And then I'll just wipe off some of the excess caulking, and then I'll go in and test it out, and I think it's going to work great. Mom might say, hey, why is that crooked? Well, you know the reason now, right? You'll never get this vacuum chamber off if it starts bubbling out of that. You can't do a gasket, you can't do nothing with it. You'd have to actually take the whole pipe off. So it's the only way we can do it, which allows the hose to go that direction. It just goes out and washes the car. So it'll work. Plus we still can put our splitter on here. No problem. I'll clean this up. Now that we got the outside tight, pipe straight, valves off, and come over here and turn our valve on. Now we're going to go up here, test our fitting. No drippage. We can open this up. I hear no noise. See how this can swivel? You can put this basically where you want it, but I like it right there. That way this is on the side. We got no leakage. You want to know if it's under pressure? See the air coming out? There we go. So now we just got to burp the water at the sinks and stuff. I'll let her know that you're going to have air in it for a second. And then let's go out and test our faucet. There's an Amish boy down there, and he's gathering them up. And they stack them, but they fired up a tractor. I think they have some kind of lift. You go along, it grabs them kind of like a bale thrower and throws them up on the wagon. It's kind of neat. Let's get back to our faucet. Alright, so out here, I threaded this thing on there. Let's test it out. Water we have. And then if you use these splitters, because she's got tomato plants over there that look pretty good, and she wants to water them. So this thing, they don't turn very good. Why not? I guess I gotta get my righty on there. Boy, they turn kind of hard. And then this one probably goes the other way. Cool. Okay. See that? Nothing. So then they turn hard for being a brand new fitting. I'd almost return it. There you go. Probably got to be used a couple times. Expert. Brass, why shut up? Boy, it's supposed to be good quality. Boy, it turns hard on the fingers. So we're all set, guys. Just remember to put your wedge in there so that this angles downhill. We'll go ahead and turn this off. She can turn one of them on, whichever hose she hooks up. She's got her little hose reel here. And then she's in business. So that was a little Mother's Day present. I told her I'll get one, get it put on there. And then when we did the shutoff valve, so now she's got a security that if this ever freezes and she forgets, leaves a hose on, you know, there is another way to shut the water off. So thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next one.